All right, so we're going to go ahead. For those of you, I don't know if there's anyone that's new today, but if you are new, I'm sure we have a few new people. Go ahead and just write that you're new in the chat box. Write your name and that this is the first time you're working with Mynoo. Very exciting. I believe this is our 6th call on the 7 C's. So we have one more. Today is going to be about coexistence. If you are not up to speed on the 7 C's, we can turn you on to our YouTube channel, and that will give you all the prior calls. So we are so excited that we are joined here by not only Mynoo, but Gaurav. And Gaurav, are you there? Oh, yes, we get to see your actual face. I'm going to pin the video for a moment because not everyone gets a chance to see Gaurav. There he is. All right. So Gaurav is so important to us. He runs all the behind the scenes. Thank God for Gaurav. And yes, we so appreciate you making this seamless every week. All right, I promise to unpin that for you. I just don't know how. Maybe you can unpin yourself. You're the technical guy. So welcome everyone. We're going to get started. For those of you who don't know Mynoo, Mynoo and I go way back, almost 10 years. Many of you have heard about my journey with Mynoo. I actually started with a really unique opportunity to go on her miracle journey. So it's called A Journey into Miracles. And 10 years ago, I was able to come together with Mynoo and learn all the secrets to how to have my life exist in a way where miracles became the norm every single day. And of course, we need from time to time to brush up on our skills. So I was lucky enough that I got to do another journey with Mynoo just maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I think we completed, and we're getting ready for yet another miracles journey coming up on June 15th. So Mynoo, for those of you who don't know her, she considers herself a guide and a coach and a mentor to your miracles. And she has a unique gift of both entrepreneurial business skills and this business genius that is merged with unprecedented spiritual wisdom. So she is going to share with us today a little bit of both of those. So she was recently described Richard Branson meets the Dalai Lama. So I don't know how you feel about that, Mynoo, but that's what people are saying. So thank you again for all of you coming today, and we will turn it over to Mynoo so she can get started.
Okay, welcome everyone for being here. And you know, it's very exciting for me to share new nuances of the new norm every time that we start the journey of navigating a new sea. And it has been a journey indeed. So today, before I dive into the 6th C, which is the C of coexistence, I want to just go through the top 10 foundational pieces of the new norm that has been anchored. It has been anchored on the planet. I knew that it had arrived, and I would say it is great news that at least 10 foundational pieces have been anchored. The 10 foundational elements that form the new norm, foundation set, are: the unknown is the known, uncertainty is certain, change is constant. It is a shift from survival to thriving. So now, if you wish to tap into your instinct, tap into your thriving instinct. 5, taking nothing for granted is the modus operandi. 6, celebration is the vibe. This is the C that we dived into last week. Number 7, leverage comes from collaborative co-creation of coexistence. That is as opposed to competitive advantage. It's all about leverage, which comes from collaborative co-creation of coexistence. Number 8, new economic models are underway, and they are playing on our field of extraordinary results. The field of extraordinary results is where 3 things run in parallel: unprecedented performance, operational excellence, and transforming quality of life. for yourself first, for your stakeholders, which includes your family, your loved ones, and in business, you will have many other stakeholders, or in your career, you'll have other stakeholders. And we have stakeholders as a nation and other governing bodies. But it is the field of extraordinary results where unprecedented performance, operational excellence, and transforming quality of life. The three things run parallel for you, your stakeholders, and the planet. Number 9, there is a switch from alignment to flow to coherence. And coherence is the 7th C that we are going to journey into next week. So it's not enough to just get aligned about something or just to get an aligned team. The new norm enables you to, once you have the alignment to switch into flow, to actually go into a space where you and your team and your comrades get coherent around it. Today, my invitation for each one of you would be to allow yourself to step into a space of coherence with coexistence. And number 10, unconditional acceptance is the blockbuster that unleashes you and propels your work forward, whatever it may be. Now, each one of these is a big body of work, and this call is not about going into all of those. I wanted to share these 10 pieces because they provide an anchor on which the foundation, and they provide literally the foundation stones. The foundation is being laid over the next several weeks, but the foundation stones are these 10 that are in place. And that is what we are actually building ourselves on, and we are building ourselves up from. Today, we have a deep dive into the sea of coexistence. And as many of you know, that I practice the art of allowing, and this whole space of being in the unknown and this whole, we have had a lockdown here in India, has become a wonderful boot camp of allowing. And I follow my intuitive guidance. So in the midst all of this stuff that was happening, we had a warning here in Mumbai about a cyclone that was going to hit us. And this is the cyclone which is going to arrive and was going to come into Mumbai. And the last one that arrived, that Mumbai faced, was about 169 years ago. So it isn't a cyclone territory as such. So it was quite unusual that this was happening. So there was lots of preventive measures that were set in place. And the night where the cyclone was building up and we were supposed to experience it the following morning, I was guided to allow myself to be taken into the eye of the cyclone. And I did. I allowed myself to be energetically placed in the eye of the cyclone. And it became not just a graduation or a master's degree, it actually became a PhD and whatever else is beyond a PhD in stillness. And this whole foundational element that formulates coexistence in a way that coexistence becomes regenerative was the learning that I received from my journey into the eye of the cyclone. What I saw there I was in complete stillness, and whilst there was something which was very silent about that space, it wasn't silence actually, it was stillness. The noise was louder than anything I have ever experienced. The movement was faster than anything I have ever seen. And it looks as if everything is moving in one direction, but actually sitting there in the eye of the cyclone and observing it, it looks like there is a current, but there is a countercurrent, and there's a countercurrent. The particles are literally being sucked into that space, and they're moving, with their own frequency. And it looks quite random from the eye of the cyclone, even though when you look at it externally, you can see that seems to be some form of rhythm. So there I am in the center of it. in complete stillness, observing this crazy amount of movement, which looks completely chaotic in terms of movement, as well as in terms of sound, as well as in terms of what I'm seeing. It's like it was very difficult to decipher what it is that I was actually seeing if I only allowed my mind to focus on it. What I saw was, and what I experienced was, what I call as active stillness. For me to remain still in that space, it called for every cell in my being and every cell in my field to be completely still, allowing myself to not judge, evaluate, or even get involved in any of the chaos, but to just be, accepting what is, moving with the chaos. My intention of going there was to really prevent collateral damage in highly populated areas. But I had to release my own agenda. I literally had to operate from an intention that I had created before I allowed myself to be brought into the eye of the cyclone, and then just be completely present to what is. And you can imagine the movement and the power of that movement was so strong that even for a split moment, if I allowed my mind to come in and drive anything, it could even be a tiny little thought, I would get literally disintegrated and not know if I would actually return back into my human body. What I also saw was very interesting was that there was me in the eye of the cyclone, and there was a connection to my human body. But there was so much movement that I knew, I usually like to see the connection. I was not able to see any of that connection. I just had to trust. So it created a very high frequency of trust in my being by being in the eye of the cyclone. What I saw there was this active stillness where I can see the chaos that is surfacing, that is in action, that is playing out all around me, and also seeing that it is so close and yet so far, knowing that it cannot touch me even, should I choose to remain in my stillness, but actively flowing, allowing myself to move with it. I realized that is the foundation of coexistence. So there I was in my knowing that, I am who I am. And all I am to do is to be, allowing myself to move. I can observe the chaos. And by coexisting with the chaos, the cyclone did not hit Mumbai. In fact, it did not actually hit any of the majorly populated areas. It really did only just scrape by. There was no collateral damage, which was the intention with which I allowed myself to go into the eye of the cyclone. There was a coexistence that took place, allowing that ferocious and almost hurricane-like, and felt quite horrific, just the sound of it, of what was going on around me. That energy to play it out, and then it was gone. The coexistence begins with you choosing yourself, knowing that even if you didn't believe in anything at all, spiritual or religious or anything at all, you are coexisting. You are coexisting with your body parts, if nothing else. You're coexisting with your thoughts. Coexistence is the vibrational frequency of honoring. Now, you've heard me talk about, and there are many of you here who've been with me, and you were there in person when we seeded the World Dignity Movement. And dignity is about honoring of your own self-worth. And from that space, honoring that in others. Coexistence that begins with that honoring of you. And if you are, and it is all facets of you, all aspects of you. Literally, unconditionally accepting what is. The learning that I had in this boot camp of coexistence, in that eye of the cyclone, and I was there for a few hours in the night and then a few hours in the morning. A few hours in the morning was just curiosity to see if the course had shifted, and it had. But what happened in the morning was interesting. When I go into the eye of the cyclone, it's like there's like something which is even finer than laser beam focus. I could completely see the vibration of my intention and nothing else. So there's a little bit of that esoteric journey of the cyclone that I've talked about, but the learning from that I'm sharing here, and it is the first time, both Catherine and Gaurav, and some of you were there yesterday, heard little snippets of this journey of the eye of the cyclone, and it's the first time I'm really sharing more of it with everyone. Active stillness comes from you honoring your own worth. Honoring of your own worth is really the miracle within. It's dignity. Dignity is something you're born with. Nobody can take it away. Nobody can give you dignity. All we do is we ignore it or we forget about it. So as you journey into the sixth sea of coexistence, take your time to list out, make a list, as exhaustive a list as you can, of all that exists within you. All that exists because of you. All that exists on account of you. All that has been caused as a result of you. And whatever you list, make that like your altar equivalent. Honor it in your own way. You can honor it by opening a bottle of champagne. You can honor it by creating an altar. You can honor it by playing a singing bowl. You can honor it by, singing a song to yourself, or doing your honoring dance or the happy dance, whatever it may be. Honor your choices. What are the choices? And remember, it is all about all of you. In that moment, there I am in the center, in the eye of the storm. If I go judgmental even on myself, if I go into, I should really, stop, worrying about things. I should really, there was no time for a should. I would be disintegrated instantly because the powerful force that was there would literally consume me because I would not be moving with the chaos. Coexistence calls you to move with the chaos. It is not about moving in the chaos. It is moving with the chaos, with certainty, and doing it as a matter of choice. Collaborating with all the energies that support you. You may or may not be aware of all of them, but choosing the choice of collaboration. Co-creating with your soul being amplified through your human presence, bringing in the presence of the Creator. Imbuing in you the celebration vibe, rejoicing the fact that you are moving with the chaos until a laser beam focus becomes available to you. And then the strides that you take, they aren't steps. They are strides. They are leaps with which you move forward. Because now you are in the vibe of coexistence. The benefit of coexistence is that it is the end of conflict. What I was there witnessing from the eye of the storm looked like conflicting movements. Like particles being sucked into it. And there was others who had already got into the rhythm of movement. It looked like conflict. And yet, by me choosing to move with the chaos, there was no conflict within me. There could be even a little teeny weeny ounce of it. I would be completely destroyed and disintegrated if I allowed that to happen. So all I did was allow myself to be in what is. And by doing so, what seemed chaotic brought about an anchoring of the vibe of coexistence in a very practical and profound way. And the essence of which I'm sharing with you today. And as you start, this is all about implementation. Those of you who have heard me talk about the 2020 energies from way back then, I said, this is a year of doing. Being is assumed that it's taken care of. You'll need to choose to be if you haven't been in that practice. And I know that there are several of you on this call who have implemented the Be plan from my Be book. So, it's nothing complicated. You just choose your Be word that allows you to be. Allow the doing to flow, as opposed to wanting to have a very tight control over it. I'm all for systems and structures that you have, which create a set of parameters within which doing will flow. And remember, from my experience of being in the eye of the cyclone, I just know when I'm there in that space of active stillness, moving with the chaos, unconditional acceptance of what is, was just the way it was. That was the modus operandi. The trust frequency was rising and rising and rising until it just became me. The love vibe where the human form is completely honored and seen as a vehicle for the expression of my soul presence was it. The creator was in full-blown action, right amidst that huge amount of activity that I was experiencing all around me. And this is a metaphor for what is going on with each of us in this third dimensional reality, with the writing and the fires and, orchestrated fires, what seems like hate campaigns that are going on. This whole cyclone metaphor and me being there, what I also saw many, many cyclones, energetic cyclones that had been activated and have been initiated in certain parts of the world, operating in a saboteur energy. And they too shall pass if we put ourselves in the eye of the cyclones. Being in that complete oneness with our presence. That is really what oneness is. If you get into the space of oneness with your presence, coexistence is the way it is. You see, everything is only about coexistence. You are coexisting within every breath you take. So that's just how it is. Why resist? Let's do it with each other. Let's do it with nature. Let's do it with the vibe of what is, whilst remaining within you, honoring your own worthiness every step of the way. Reclaiming one of the three things that you were born with, which is dignity, the foundation of coexistence. It is just so. So you may as well do it with complete presence and as a matter of conscious choice. Coexistence also means the good can coexist with the bad. The ugly can coexist with the beautiful. They coexist within each one of us. So, wow, that's just going to be the case around us too. And you can still be in your innate vibe as a human, which is the vibe of love, expressing the presence of your limitless, omnipresent soul essence. Collaborating, co-creating, and choosing to do so, celebrating with the Creator. So having said that, I would like to now open up for any questions, Catherine.
Mynoo, thank you for that reminder. There's a lot of comments that come to me personally that everyone doesn't get to see, but you have just such a beautiful way of expressing that which inside we already know. We just need to be reminded of it. So thank you.